Hi, it's Joanna here, and I'm creating content for you about emotional alignment life coaching. So, I've been creating content to build another new channel, which is a personal development and life coaching channel. And the first thing that I'm creating content about is emotional alignment life coaching. You see, after I was interviewed by Dave Mack, I received a request for a life coaching session from Virginia. And she had great success in her first session. She came with a 5-month weight loss stall as a problem. And she reported to me 5 weeks after the session, where we were finally able to catch up again. She reported that the weight loss stall had broken and she'd lost 6 pounds in the 5 weeks. The great thing about emotional alignment life coaching is that it's not about consciously training you to behave in a different way. It's quite the opposite. We dive deeply into your history to find out at what point in time and what happened to train your subconscious to give you instructions to do something or not do something that worked as a safety mechanism back then, but it's not working anymore. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's holding you back. And so I'm bringing this 9-part series to my Carnivore channel because carnivores have problems that Carnivore can't solve. And emotional alignment might be your best bet. And I'm looking for volunteers currently to be filmed, as well as normal clients who don't want to be filmed and would rather pay for their session. Either way. And I'm also building a life coaching and personal development channel called School of Self. So please don't consider that your problems are not big enough to warrant emotional alignment life coaching. They're not too big, they're not too small, they're not too anything. If they're problems and they're there to be solved. You have a zero tolerance policy for anxiety and you have a few hurdles that you can't just can't figure out how to jump over, you keep slamming into them. Send me an email. Ask me a question. Find out what this is all about. Come and spend some time. Let me film you and it won't cost you a thing. I really am determined to help as many people as possible, and carnivores are great people, and I'm a carnivore and I'm great people. So I'm sharing this series here because my first brave emotional alignment life coaching client who agreed to be filmed is carnivore.
I'm so grateful to you, Joanna. What you do is so valuable. It's life-changing.
Sweeteners, maybe coffee. Yeah, coffee. I'm going to try to get help getting off coffee. I can't wait for a reply.
Welcome back to episode 8 of our 9-part series on emotional alignment life coaching with Virginia, my emotional alignment life coaching client. She has been gracious enough to allow us all to watch her journey throughout an entire life coaching session where we have tracked how the session moves through, how the results are achieved. This episode is partly a coming down, settling in, little bit of a discussion where I'm using my voice to calm the waters. So we have been rocking the boat and we've increased in the last episode, you will have seen, We've increased Virginia's energy by delving into the deepest of the emotions. And while that energy is at its height, we have realigned something that was misaligned. We have found the lie that has been masquerading as true. We have brought it to the light of consciousness and sorted it out, straightened it up. So now, after that has occurred and Virginia has had the release of the energy, I can't just leave her there in that fuzzy, vibrating state. I need to allow time for her to come and settle down. And her energy must settle and filter down like this. That's right. And so the way that I do it is I explain something to her that's not challenging to understand. It's appropriate to the context, it's reassuring, and it helps her understand and settle into this new alignment that's been created. And so you'll watch in this episode how I talk about some of the characters who she has brought into the story and talk about how each character is part of the other character's lessons. And not every character in the story is meant to learn the same lessons. So sometimes you will have a sibling or a parent or a child or even a best friend or a colleague or a boss. It could be anyone, it could be a teacher. It really could be anyone that has some kind of strong emotional relationship with you. And they may not need to learn a particular lesson, but you might need to learn a particular lesson. So they provide a context for that. And we can't really understand the entire universal complexity of all these conflicts and relationships. But it seems to me that some people have certain lessons to learn in life, other people have other lessons. And it's all about being together in community and relating with each other and providing context for those lessons to occur. So enjoy episode 8. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the notification bell so that you will hear about upcoming episodes in this series and also in future series. Your son is struggling, and he's been struggling all of his life, and he probably wouldn't be in life still if he didn't have you and your love and your parenting for as much of his life as he had it. If he stayed in foster care until he was a teenager, do you think he would have survived? No. But he's probably coming into his early 30s. Yeah.
He's 30.
He's really close to the time where he has the emotional growth, the ability to resolve. It's very hard to do. So the damage is done really early. So I also teach I teach about the cycles of 7 that go through your life. And early days, you're setting up, your soul has put you where they've put you for a reason, to set up a very, very tough lesson. And your son has a very tough lesson. And he was with you to gather the resources and to be in a context that he's learning from. And now he's been out in the world and he's trying to work out who he is and he's trying to achieve in his life. And he has 1,000 roadblocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000 of them. Everywhere he turns, smashing his head against a brick wall, which makes him even more angry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
coming to the age, which happens to be 35 to 42, where his prefrontal cortex will calm down and his emotional self will be able to have a little bit of a louder voice. And if he has the right context around him, if he can remember what his mum gave him, yeah, he will be able to take that and start to investigate. And so we, cross our fingers and cross our toes and pray that he stays safe until that time in his life, and then he happens upon someone like me maybe who can help him understand how the things fit together,
Okay.
and he can reconcile what he didn't have and what he did have and who he does belong to, and his anger of being abandoned, which is many people's anger in today's world,
Yeah.
can be reconciled and resolved and forgiven. Yeah. Just like you're going through this process of forgiving these, essentially, they're lies, but they're like opinionated lies that
Yeah.
somehow
Right.
I'm absolutely sure that your mother hasn't done the calculation, that her opinion
No.
about the connection between biological parents and their biological children and their adopted children, and you having adopted children, and one of your children being in a right royal mess for a very long time. She has not done any of those calculations of
No.
how that's affecting you.
No.
No,
No. She hasn't.
because they're your calculations to do. These are your lessons to learn through. Yeah? So you see, episode number 8 has been about allowing Virginia's energy to settle, while I brought in a little bit of education about the cycles of 7 years that we move through in our lives. I didn't explain too much, but I explained that it's a thing. That's why in the first half of your life, you are growing up physically. It's a very much a physical world experience. And in the second half of your life, it's very much a spiritual world experience where we start to emotionally grow. Everyone seems to have lessons in this life, and we have relationship with other people that provides context for learning those lessons. I hope you've enjoyed episode number 8. We have one episode left in the series, and we will bring it all together. It's very important that part of my role as an emotional alignment life coach, the teaching role, is to make sure that the client understands that the cycle has completed. So we've started here with the perceived problem, and here we come around, and here have we resolved that problem. So follow along and see how it all turns out in episode 9. If you're interested in putting your hand up to be a filmed emotional alignment client, please email me.
I'm so grateful to you, Joanna. What you do is so valuable. It's life-changing.
Sweeteners. Maybe coffee. Yeah, coffee. I'm going to try to get help getting off coffee. I can't wait for a reply.